So my biggest piece of advice for beginning artists is really to practice, 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 because that is the only way that you will get better. And that is the way that you'll free yourself up. I used to be so stifled in my artwork because I had convinced myself that everything I did, every piece that I did had to be saleable. So I was struggling a lot with creativity because I was forcing myself to try and make everything perfect the first time. And one thing that I did in the beginning of 2020 was I told myself, no, everything I do is practice. And if it's good enough to sell afterwards, then I'll sell it. But otherwise, it's just practice. And that was so freeing for me because all of a sudden, instead of being afraid to try something different, now it was just practice. So if it didn't turn out, it didn't turn out. I would just turn the page in my sketchbook, or I would, just put that board aside. And that's what actually allowed me to feel like I was capable of painting the flowers and the florals and everything that I started painting in August, because I knew that there was a learning curve and I didn't have to be perfect. So that was a big one for me. And then the other thing that freed me up to do is to really tackle things that I struggled with before. Because previously, 99% of my drawings and everything were of animals, and in particular, horses and bunnies and things like that. I tended to gravitate towards herbivores because for some reason, I found them easier to draw. I think maybe it's the placement of their eyes. So I would kind of gravitate towards drawing those things rather than trying the things that I struggled with, which I really struggled with drawing people. And I really struggled with drawing cats for some reason. There was just something about them that I couldn't quite capture the way I wanted. So what I actually did, my goal last year was to learn to draw people because it was something that I struggled with. And previous to allowing myself that freedom to practice, I would not have done that. I would have avoided them like crazy because I was too afraid to fail. But now I look at it as practice. So I spent a lot of time drawing people last year. I drew people. I painted my first portrait through the courses that I'm taking. I drew portraits. In Inktober, I decided to participate in Inktober last year, and I focused a lot on drawing people, portraits, and full body positions and stuff because I wanted to learn. And I've seen my skills at it grow exponentially over the last year. So then this year I decided I was going to tackle not only continuing to draw people, but also drawing cats because I struggled with drawing cats. So I've been focusing a lot on that and learning how to draw them, and I've been sketching them and I've been painting them, and it's just been fun to learn new things and to practice. And like I say, now when I have a failure in my sketchbook, I just turn the page and it's move on to the next thing. Or with acrylics, one thing I like about the acrylics is if I have a problem, if I fail at something, I can just paint over it. So that was, I remember at Christmas time I was painting a picture for my sister of her cat and her bunny, and I was painting the cat and there was just something that wasn't looking right on it. So I took some measurements off of my reference photos and scaled them up to what my picture was, and I realized that I had done the eyes completely too large. And instead of panicking and giving up and everything, I was like, no, I can fix this. And so I just painted over them. I painted them over and then I repainted. And it was something that was so freeing for me to realize that I could just practice, that I didn't have to be perfect every time. And so that would be my biggest advice that I would give to beginners, is to not give up if you aren't where you want to be, because the only way to get where you want to be is to practice.